What up, everybody? This is Zafa Slater, aka the new comic outlaw, and I'm just kicking back. We've been discussing Gotham Knights, the relationship between Batman and another supporting character, villain. This time we're going to talk about a supporting character, a character that's been there since the jump, a surrogate father to Batman. I'm talking about Alfred Pennyworth, the butler, the man behind the cowl, the man who knew Thomas and Martha Wayne. Now, Alfred's not a slouch. He's a former British operative. He was an actor. He's done a lot of stuff, a medic. So Alfred had a lot of qualifications, and he was one of Bruce's first instructors. Now, why would he aid an 8-year-old kid on a mission of vengeance? That's the question. Why would he help him? Why would he send him off to escape artists like Zendana's father? Why would he send him to places to learn how to fight? Why would he send him among some of the greatest detectives in the world? The answer is pretty simple. Bruce was hell-bent, and Alfred knew he couldn't stop him. So he did what he could to make Bruce safe. He introduced him to some of the greatest detectives, but morally anchored men and women. And basically, they gave him a sense of honor. He was around Richard Dragon, Shiva, and people actually say that she's a villain, but she does have a sense of honor. So does Richard Dragon. He was given a choice between the League of Assassins or who he was going to become. Now, I mentioned this in the Joker. Alfred does mention this as well. You two are playing a game. And I think that's the way Alfred sees it. Like, they're two kids fighting over a playground, and they're playing with the lives of Gotham. Joker gets out, 30, 100 people, sometimes more, end up dead. Batman hunts him down, beats him up, puts him in a body cast, throws him in Arkham Asylum, for which some reason it's just a revolving door. People just keep getting out over and over again. And who has a pink slip on Arkham Asylum? Who has the pink slip? I think it's Mr. Wayne. Just throwing it out there. Think about it. The revolving door. These villains just keep going in and out, and the game keeps playing. And what does Alfred do? Alfred tries to manage the damage. He loves him like a son, but he might think Bruce is a little sick. That he goes out there night after night after night. Alfred served in the military. Alfred knows that sometimes you have to take someone out. Bruce has never served in the military. He's never made that kind of sacrifice or been in that situation. Bruce has never was a cop. He's had cop training, but he was never a cop. He was never on the streets. Basically, he's some rich kid that learned all these skills. And it's cool. He knows how to fight. He's the world's greatest detective. He's one of the world's greatest martial artists. I mean, he has so many skills, he could give Captain America a run for his money. And he has in Marvel vs. DC, which I probably should cover. He fights Captain America to a standstill, and Captain America had a super soldier serum. I mean, his skills, but I mean, they're always up to par. There's just that one problem. These criminals keep getting out. They keep doing horrible things. I mean, look at some of this horrible stuff that Joker's done to Alfred. And Death of the Family, he basically turned him into a Joker zombie. I mean, stuff happens over and over again. And Alfred sees that. He loves Bruce. like a son. But do you think at some point that wore out? I mean, at first he loved that little boy. He loved him with all his heart and soul. He loved Martha. He loved Thomas. He loved the entire family. But that family died in that alleyway. And I think some ways so did Bruce. And I think Alfred mourns him, just like he mourns Thomas and Martha. And all that's left, all the love was gone from him. Everything, the joy. Everything that little kid was. And if you don't believe me, they touch on this in a Justice League episode. Kid stuff. Where they become little kids and Bruce says, I haven't been a little kid since I was 8 years old. That little kid died in that alley, I think. And what was born was an angry, vengeful, cold-hearted child. I mean, not cold-hearted to the point where he's cruel to everyone. He is rough on the Robins. In a lot of ways, he does care, but he has that sliver of ice in his heart. I mean, think about it. The way he acts with the Robins, the way he acts towards Alfred sometimes, his relationship with Selena, hot and then cold. She loves him intensely, but Batman has that sliver of ice. That's the best way to put it. That broken heart that can't be healed because he can't bring back his parents. He can't change what happened. All he can do is go out night after night after night, fighting people, punishing himself because he couldn't stop a madman robbing them, taking whatever they had, and then shooting them down in the alley. He relives that scene over and over again. And I bet Alfred punishes himself too. Alfred would have sacrificed himself for Thomas and Martha just so Bruce didn't become what he became. Batman. And don't get me wrong, I love Batman. It's always a great read. But Batman's all about vengeance, intensity. He never stops. He constantly fights over and over again. And Alfred's the one that stitches him up. Alfred's the one that brings him home. Alfred's the one that serves him tea and crumpets. Alfred's the one that takes care of him. Alfred's the one that reminds him that he has to be Bruce Wayne. And I think Alfred loves him, but he stays with him out of obligation too. He's his father, but he's also his warden in some ways if you think about it. He loves him like a son, but he's also his warden. He keeps him in check. He gives him his food. He makes sure everything's okay. He's in control of the Batmobiles. He's in control of the fortress. He's the only one that has a complete password. He's there to keep Bruce in check from spiraling down and becoming worse. Because if you read those comics, Bruce is always that half a step away from stepping into the abyss and never coming back. That's what Alfred does. That's why Alfred allows this Bat family, these Robins, these kids that they take in. What, they took Dick Grayson in when he was, 10? These other kids? Because Bruce needs that. He needs some sense of family. And in a way, so does Alfred. Something to pull them back from the darkness. And yeah, in the back of your mind, you're probably wondering, why would a man who wears a cape and cowl, goes out and beats the hell out of villains, goes through gunfire, all this horrible stuff, just decides one day, I'm going to take a 10-year-old sidekick, I'm going to give him a bright yellow uniform with a red cape, and why not short shorts and green elven shoes? I mean, why the hell not? So, sorry, that was a little funny. The Robins, basically, they're there to cheer Bruce up, to remind him that there's more to life than just crime fighting, and to keep him in check. Because Bruce has to watch out for them. Bruce has to set an example. Bruce has to be the example. He can't kill. He can't do this. He can't do that. He has to set himself in a higher standard. And I think that's the only reason that Alfred allows it. Just to keep Bruce in check. Just to tell him, Master Bruce, you have a son. You have to be here instead of here. You have to be the example. You have to be not only Batman, but Bruce Wayne. You can't only be a crime fighter, you have to be a father, like Alfred is. Alfred sets the example for Batman. Bruce sets the example for the Robins. I see Alfred as the grandfather of this. And he does whatever he can to keep his son in check, to keep his grandsons in check, to keep everybody in check. Alfred is the example, the trendsetter when it comes to love, family, how to take care of family. Because Bruce lost all that. That little boy lost his world in that alley. He lost everything. He lost his father, his mother. He never learned what it was to set the example. He never learned what it was to be a man. He's that scared, lost little boy. And Alfred is his father. And he does whatever he can to keep his son safe. But when he looks at that man, when he stitches up those bullet wounds, those knife wounds, when he comes back broken, probably crying to himself that he couldn't do enough, that someone probably died and he couldn't prevent it, when he's feeling guilty about him not being able to do enough, someone died. Bruce carries that with him. He carries that darkness with him. And Alfred does what he can to relieve him of it. They all do. That's why his family, all the Robins, have some kind of tragedy in their lives. Born of darkness. But Alfred tries to guide them to the light. And a lot of them do. A lot of them end up going to the light. Look at Nightwing. Look at Tim Drake. Well, Jason Todd's a different story. Batgirl. Spoiler. They all take a turn, or they all evolve into something else. They carry those lessons that Bruce gave them, but they also carry the lessons of Alfred. I mean, Nightwing, for example, is basically a mix between Batman and Alfred. All his skills, Alfred's sense of humor, his ability to joke, his ability to laugh things off. So, this is my point. For every family, there's always a father. There's always a father figure. And I think Alfred is like Ra's al Ghul. He's hoping one day that little boy will turn into a man. Act more like a man. Act less like a cowboy and more like a policeman. Do his job, or soldier. Do his duty. Come home. Soldiers come home. Soldiers come home to their families. Some do, some don't. And the ones that don't end up losing themselves in war, just like Bruce is. What did he say once? The war must go on, and so do I. There's other people to fight the war. And Alfred prays that one day, Bruce will be able to hang it up. He'll be able to pass on the cowl. He'll be the man he always wanted him to be. That he's done enough. and that he can do something else. Fathers always want the best for their sons, and Alfred is the same way. He is the same way. All fathers love their sons and daughters, and they'll do anything to keep them safe. But eventually, they do want them to grow up. They do want them to be better. And I think deep down, that's what drives Alfred. That's what drives that man. That one day Bruce will grow up and be better. And the war always goes on. But maybe he can find a different way to fight it. Those are my thoughts on Alfred Pennyworth. Check out Batman issues just to see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stuff in there. He's been a character since 1944. He actually looked like the Penguin at one point. He slimmed down. The animated series features him. I mean, every source of media features Alfred. You know what? Put in the comments below, who is your favorite Alfred? Who is your favorite actor, voice actor, whatever? Who is your favorite Alfred if you're that daring? If you're that daring, I will answer you. I will talk to you, and I'll even tell you who my favorite Alfred is. But I'm not going to tell you until I get some comments down there. Zafa Slater, I'm the Comic Outlaw. This has been Gotham Knights, and this has been my thought on the relationship between Batman and Alfred Pennyworth, as well as a few other members of the Batman family. I'll see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below, and as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.